Hi guys, welcome back. Like today's video's topic is Spring Data JPA. So without wasting time, let's begin this. So I already prepared some document kind of thing or notes for you. So I will attach this in description. You can download from there. So what is the basic idea of this? First, we're gonna cover our all theoretical part. After that, we will see each and every step what we speak, like what I speak in this course. We'll see practically each and every step. Okay, so have patience and just see what we're gonna do. The first thing, I hope if you are going with the Spring Data JPA, you already know what is Hibernate and like persistence, ORM. There are few things which you already know because it will give you the good clarity, like why we are using this. So the first thing I want to just say, like if you're going with, just read about something ORM, JPA, Hibernate, what all these things. Okay, so let's begin this. What is persistence first? Like persistent store, we are using Spring Data JPA. So what is persistence store in general term? Like what is persistence store? Okay, so you can say like where we are storing our data, like database. It's like persistence store, that's all. And what is operations? Like persistence operations, like inserting, updating, deleting and retrieving. These all are persistence operations, like when we are storing any data in database or we are retrieving, updating or deleting. These all are four CRUD operations are persistence operations. Get? Okay, now just keep these two little things in mind, nothing else. Okay, and we will see each and everything, that's all. And what is persistence technologies? Spring Data JPA's persistent technology. What does mean of persistence technology? Okay, let's suppose there are few things which help you to do your work in easy way. So that similar to like these things come in picture. Like in your college time when you are developing a project, I hope there are few peoples which don't aware about these frameworks in college time. So like me, I also not aware. So we are making a project in college time with using Java JDBC, right? There are a few 7 steps to interacting database, like connection manager and connection from connection close to, like there are few steps, like 7 steps. And after that framework like ORM framework, Spring JDBC and Spring Data JPA. So these frameworks all help to write persistence logic. What is persistence logic? Which like you are performing on database, like operations. Now when we work with Spring MVC, like in real-time project, like when you are working in your office or you are working on some real-time project, we are using DAO. What is mean? Data access layer. DAO, your first interface, like you are making, you have a customer class in your project, you have a student class in your project, you have account class in your project, right? What we do, like in general terms, we make one interface for that, and after that interface has defined methods inside, like save, update, delete, and after that we will give implementation for that. This is a general flow of project, right? But suppose you have thousands of class, customer, student, college, like that. You have thousands of class in your project. Is it good idea to give thousands times same implementation? All right, let me show you in detail. Like suppose like this, you have thousands of interfaces, interface A, interface C. So what you gonna do? You will just give implementation thousands time, right? So what do you think? It is good idea to give like thousands time implementation for your each interface? I don't think so. It's a good idea, right? It's not good programming practice. So here like Spring Data JPA come in picture, right? It will give you all the predefined methods to interact your database. Just you need to be implement like or CRUD repository, okay, or JPA repository. These two predefined repository. We will gonna talk about this in few minutes. Just have patience. So only when you want to save object, you say save object, your work is done as a programmer, you don't need to be done anything. So this is great, right? Okay, let's see. So yeah, what is DAO? We also know, like, which have all the methods which interact to database, where we write your persistence logic and implementation class. So you can just, I don't want to read this whole thing, I just give you the basic idea. You can see, you can just go through this document. The main thing, why we are using Spring Data JPA, right? Why we are using? First of all, the first thing come in mind, it helps to remove boilerplate code. What is boilerplate code? If we compare to JDBC, simple JDBC API, okay? So if we compare, so if we compare to JDBC, simple JDBC, we have number of steps to connect database, right? That thing is not come in picture in Spring Data. You only just need to be implement one interface, rest that interface will take care. It will give you the predefined methods to interact a database. You don't need to be done anything, okay, as a programmer. And second thing, when you implement that CRUD repository or JP repository, it will give you the runtime implementation. When you implement these two, runtime implementation for your interface, by default JPA will give. Let's see like how they will give, like how it will give. I will show you, okay, because we are not giving any implementation like when we are creating DAO. Here JPA will give the runtime implementation with the help of proxy design pattern. Okay, I will let you know that how we are doing that. Okay, so by making you understand how these two works, I want to create one project here. Okay, so what is the syntax, how we are using and all. So first thing, I want to go when we are creating a project. So I already created one project here, not full project, I will just do all the things in front of you. This is our class, okay, and this is our entity, and this is our repo. Three things I create. I will make you understand. This is default class which create when you're creating a project. Okay, what do you want to do? Just go to STS new project, or you go to like default Spring IO website, this website, okay, and select here a project like Spring Data or whatever project name you want to give. And after that, next, in dependency you just select Spring Data and MySQL. These two only we need for this project, nothing else. Okay, and after that do next, your project will create. Okay, that only I have do, nothing else. Just cancel because I already have project. Now the first thing, for making a Spring Data project, I want to create one entity. Which entity? I want to create one class. Just come up, yeah, this contact master, because we will do demo with the help of this table. So the similar thing I want to create in my database, sorry, in my project. So I have created one class here, it is contact master, and I already create get a setter method for it. Just close this console, get a setter method for that. Now if you see here, we have 2-3 things. First is this entity, sorry, not this, like this, yeah, entity, ID and column, right? We have 3 things. One more thing we will use here, okay, so that is table. We can say @table name. Why I'm using this, just give me 2 minutes, I will just let you know. Yeah, fine. So there are 4 things, like first is table, entity, ID, column. So I will let you know why we are using these all. So I will go to our mapping. Suppose you have different name, your class name is different. In my case, if you see here, in when we compare to database, see, when we compare to database, this my class name is different to my table name. Okay, I'm using here my this created database JPA. Inside that I have a table contact master. Till now I have not created this, but we will create. Okay, so we have a different name, we have different name, right, in table like contact master. So we need to use this table annotation to denote like our name is different, but I want to map this class to my table. So this table annotations is mandatory in case we have different name, and it is optional in case you have contact underscore master here also. If there is no difference, you have similar name for your table and for your class, then no need to use this. Got it? And the second thing is id. If we talk about second thing is like, first we will talk about column, why we are using this. Suppose in this case, if you see here contact id, let me do this, yeah, come here. If you see here, this is contact id and this is contact underscore id. So I want to map this, right? So that's why I want to use for column at the rate this column annotation, and for name it's contact id, and it will map to your this different column name to this contact underscore id. Got it? So that's why I want to use at the rate column annotation. Fine. Now two more things we have here, entity, okay, and id, right? These two annotations are mandatory. Why these two annotations are mandatory? Because if you see in your table, we have this contact id is primary key, so I want to represent this column as a primary key, so I say at the rate id, annotation id. That's all, simple. And if you see your this table this class contact master representing the structure of this table, right? So I want to use entity to represent my this class as my table. Got it? As an entity, sorry, as an entity I want to represent this whole class as an entity, so we will use this annotation. Got it? So let's move forward. Close this, and if now you have a clear picture in your mind, like what is this column annotation and what is this table annotation, what is entity annotation, what is id annotation. I write here also these table annotation and these are optional, sorry, these are optional, and id and this entity is mandatory. Okay, so let's close this. So I have created this entity here and getter setter method, nothing done. You have just declared like this method and create after getter setter method. Okay, the second thing, you have to create one repository, which I create here. Now the Spring Data JPA come in picture. So if you see here, we already have this interface in our different package like com.ashwani.repo. Okay, so what we do, extend and CRUD repository. Okay, and here what we have to give, I have to give my this class name, so I will say, and here you have to give your primary key type. I have integer here, but we have one option, you can give serializable. Okay, now you just import this, import contact master. Your work is done as a programmer. Okay, you don't need to be done anything, just like anything, you not to give a implementation. If we are not working with the Spring Data JPA, you need to give this implementation of your contact master repo, but in this case you don't need to give any implementation, your work is done. So the thing which we talk about, like JPA give runtime implementation for your interface, like I will show you how it will give. So come here, what's your repository name, contact master, right? Come here and what this method return type run return type configurable application context. So I will come here and say configure application context, yeah, and here we will say contact master repo. I want to take an object of this repo, bean get bean, right, and what is class name dot class, right. This is our interface, right. We can't create an object of interface, but I'm taking an object from like get beans, like give me the object of this class. What it does mean, it will give the runtime implementation, it will create runtime implementation. Let me show you how it will create. So bean dot get class get name, simple. Now I will run this program and see. Yeah, we have done one mistake here. What mistake? We forgot to mention these steps in a property file. No issue. There are property resources application.property, these things. Like I'm using my database JPA and password root, username root and password and driver class, all these. We forgot that, my bad. Now what we will do, we will run our application again. Spring Boot, yeah, application is up and running, right. If you see here, okay, com.sun proxy $proxy67, this is your runtime implementation object of your interface. Got it? You don't need to be done anything. You just JPA will give you all the predefined methods or implementation of your interface, and now you have all the predefined methods, like say whatever method we will gonna see that. So next thing what we go, like we see how we use CRUD repository and interface. Let me show you like how it look like. Just come down. If you go to this CRUD repository, inside that it also extend one interface repository, and if you go inside it, you see there is no method. And when we come back to CRUD repository, we have some methods like save all, find by id, exist by id, but in this method in this interface we don't have any method. Then why we are using this? First question in mind, like if it doesn't have any method, why we are using this? If you like know Java, yeah, I know you all are champ. So this is a marker interface, we don't have any method. So when any interface is a marker interface, JVM is responsible to give a implementation, JVM is responsible to give predefined functionalities. If you are extending this, then there are some predefined functionalities for that, so JVM will give that functionality. Okay, so in this case, why we are using, what does mean of this repository marker interface? So suppose here we extend this CRUD repository interface and this extend marker interface, so indirectly you also extending this. If what is the role of this repository interface here? So if some interface called contact master or any interface extend that repository interface, it means it indicates the JPA. At runtime, buddy, you have to give the implementation for the interface called contact master repo. That's why we are extending this repository interface, because it indicates it indicates to JPA, now you have to give a runtime implementation for this interface because it extend repository interface. So when some interface extend this CRUD repository and CRUD repository extend this, then JPA will get to know like, okay, now I want to give the implementation. Got it? Why we are using this repository interface, marker interface. Now it's time to save our object. So I will create one object of this contact master. Like first, okay, let me create our database. So I will select this and run this command. Database is created, and if I say show tables, like we have contact master table. Okay, now let's create our object. Object equals to new, right? And import this and obj dot set contact id is 111 and obj dot set name we will say a okay anything, just for example. Set contact number we will say 9756 anything, right? Just for example. Integer, yeah, this is integer, not a string, my bad. 9756 anything. After we just set this all data to our object, what we will say, bean dot save entity is obj. Fine. Now let's run this program. And let me show you what is this method. This method is this save method. What is written here? Save all entities. Okay, entity must be not be this null and all. We will see what it does mean. Let's see our database. Select a star from master. If it is visible to you, this is 111 like 4 times a, and this number we have created here, right? Now I think you have a clear picture like how JPA works and how it is good to as compared to Spring JDBC. If this same thing we are doing with Spring like with JDBC, we have to write all these steps, and after that we have to create that we have to fire a query and all. So no need to do this. So let's move forward. And if someone asks like what is definition of JPA, you can say like Spring Data JPA's mechanism to develop persistence logic in Spring based applications. Okay, so we already seen this table annotations and all these ID annotation. And the class is representing a structure of database that called entity class, not database table. And if we see like your contact master repo, extend CRUD repo, this CRUD repository, and it extend repository. So I already told like it is a marker interface. Why we are using this to indicate JPA, like you have to create a runtime implementation for this. Now first, like one more important question, if we have this repository interface like CRUD repository, then why need JPA repository? So if we come down here, let's see why we are using this. Let's come up. I will give you the clear idea. If your requirement is just interact your database, then you should go with this CRUD repository and all. Okay, and if your requirement is just not to just like sorting and all and proxy and all, then you will like paging, sorry, not proxy design is come in picture when runtime implementation. If your requirement is just for CRUD repository like operations, you want to interact with database, sorting and paging. What is paging? Okay, if you open Gmail or Google, okay, on your first page, in Gmail there are result 1 to 50, right? after that you just go to next, then your result is 50 to 100. So your record shows in form of pages. That is called mechanism of paging. Got it? So now you have your answer, like why we need these two and what is the difference. Let's see what is the methods like CRUD repositories have. A task from here, method available in CRUD repository interface. Like this already we have seen. Like if you pass insert or record, it will reflect in your database like this. Okay. So same method can be used to insert or record update. Look, first thing we are do this here, like this is our primary key, you know that, and second time if I insert this record for BBB and the primary key is same, so how it react? Let me run this again. Application is up and running, and I want to select a star from. Look, previously it was AAA, 4 times A, now it is 4 times BBB. So how this method is reacting? Suppose first time if you inserting a data with this primary key 111, it will act as insert, and if for same primary key, if second time you are inserting data with inserting some data with different column data, then it will react as update. Got it? The same method react as work as for two functionality. So that only we are saying this, like if it found record for already available primary key, then it will update that. We have save all method to insert multiple object at a time. We can go for this. Okay, we want to insert, we have find by ID. If you want to find something by ID or by name, you don't need to do anything. Let me show you. Just need to, this is your own method, so I will say find by ID. So let's suppose this is find by ID, this is predefined method, so let's call here only. I don't want to make any method by name or something. You can make your method also, like find by name, or I want to call here find by ID. Okay, find by ID. So it will say, just close this and run again. If you see here, it return the object com.ashwini.untagged contact master object. Okay, so it means your record is available in database. You have to just retrieve, or you have to just retrieve all the data from this object. Let me show you that how we do that. Okay, let me show you how to retrieve data. Like it shows like we have data, right? Because it returning a contact master object here. So for retrieving a data in proper manner, what we have to do here, we go to contact master, our entity, and we will say source, and in source getter, sorry, not getter, toString method we have to implement. Okay, toString all fields generate. Why I am doing this toString method? Because object class toString method inside use hash code method, and that help to print like this. Okay, so that's why. Now if you say find by ID, now I can run this. Yeah, if you see here, it says contact ID 111, contact name BBB, contact number this. Okay, got it? And it object in the form of optional inside that contact master, and we have an object here. Got it? This is a way of retrieving a data, and this is a way of saving data, right? Got it? So this all the methods, like we see find by id and find by all, like we have to pass here retrieval, like iterable, like serializable id. You just pass all the id, it will find the object. Find all like a star from star, like select a star from table name, it like similar method. And you say like find retrieve all records, count how many records are there, exist by id, it gives a true or false. Okay, and delete by id and delete all by id and delete all. That's all. These are the method, and there are some few more methods in that JPA repository. Which one? In JPA repository, few additional methods. So you can just go and practice all these methods. This is a basic idea of like JPA, Spring Data JPA. If you have any question, you can just comment down. I will happy to give an answer of your questions. Okay, and something like which we not complete in this video, you can just comment down. I will just make another video on that. So these all the basic idea all about Spring Data JPA, how we are using, what is good like Git repository and JPA repository and all. Okay, so thanks for watching this video. Thanks a lot. See you in next video. Bye bye.